All right. So, good evening and welcome to the final episode, the finale of the Darkness of Infinity. My name is John. I'm going to be your GM for the evening. So, if you are out there in Twitch land, we are so glad that all of you've gotten a chance to join us. I know some people are having a little bit of a trouble getting into Twitch right now, but we hope they're able to come and join us still. That said, last episode. We are 4 episodes in. And before we get going, first and foremost, I want to be sure that I go around and introduce my players, and that way they can tell a little bit about themselves. And guys, go ahead and shout out where people can find you right now, any shows you're on outside of this one. So let's go ahead and we'll start off with Ala.
Hi everyone, I'm Ala. I am playing a Palantir, networked Palantir at that, called LE014, and when I'm not doing my day job, I occasionally draw for tabletop RPG games.
Awesome. Thank you, Ala. And you're going to be on a stream coming up, correct? Or two?
A few, yes. I think some of them will be next year, but there's a few Let's Plays that I'm going to be playing in. I'm really excited for.
Awesome, awesome. And next up, I'm gonna go ahead and go over and Ted, go ahead and give yourself an introduction here.
Hey everyone, my name is Ted. I am playing as Fazra, who is a remnant. He's a big space cat man. As far as stuff, you'll be able to see me this weekend on the Seriously Let's Play. I'm running a game of Therianthropes, which is a 90s based kind of like young adult novel Animorphs style game, themed game. I'll also be doing some other Seriously Let's Plays coming up in the next few weeks. So you'll see me a lot on Saturdays on this channel.
Indeed, indeed. And also, let's go ahead and go down, and we got Cece.
Hi there. So I'm Cece. I am playing Benji Swift. She's a corporate and she is our ship's captain. Um, you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, all that fun stuff at C Silencio. And also, I actually have a not a D&D. It's a Pathfinder Second Edition podcast called The Drunken Geek. You can find us at Drunken Geek Pod on all your fun stuff, and we're just an actual play podcast there. And I am also looking forward to being able to play some more games with the Rick and Rasp crew moving forward.
Awesome. We'd love to have you. I actually didn't know it was a Pathfinder Second Edition game.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. That I just started getting back into Pathfinder Second Ed. I
I
think
love it.
their most recent Lost Omens book,
Mm-hmm.
the Mwangi Expanse, really kind of got me. So
Yeah.
but last but not least, somebody that I think most people know, but hey, Sean, hop on in there.
Hi, I'm Sean. I'm playing a Kaltoran named Jax Omni. I'm the ship's engineer and mechanic. When I'm not here, you can catch me on Illuminated Pages, and we're going to be starting a Horror on the Orient Express. That's the one that Ala will be in as well. Also, starting, I think, sometime in January, we'll be bringing back our Star Trek game. I play a half-human, half-Klingon medical officer there. And when I'm not here and I'm not doing my day job, I'm painting minis and playing games.
Awesome. Well, guys, like we said, finale. Now, last episode, I asked my players a question just completely at random, threw it, completely out the window, because audio was not working right last game, and so we lost some time. But I'd asked them because they are starting. They had announced at that point that they are going to make a space station that is essentially going to be a hotel in space for rich billionaires, probably in the next 50 years. Isn't that great? Well, this week we've had more weird space news of that kind, just to toss it out there. And the idea that has been presented is someday the majority of humanity will leave the Earth and the Earth will become a resort. So we're actually going to all move into space, and then we're going to have to pay to come back to Earth. That said, I want to ask my players, what do you think is an artifact that would be left by you? What is an artifact that you think would be left behind? I think that for me, I'm going to toss out mine first. And that is, I think more likely they're going to find a whole bunch of unpainted minis. What they're going to see, they're going to show up at my house and they're going to be exploring, and they're going to open up drawers, and there's going to be drawers and drawers of minis that have not been finished. It's either that or my dice collection, one or the other, and they're going to be like, wow, this guy was a nerd. But that said, let's go. Who wants to volunteer? Do I have a volunteer of somebody who thinks that there might be something that people are going to find,
Uh,
in the future from your home?
I'll go. So little known fact about me that I actually just mentioned to the group, I collect these Starbucks tumblers, and I would only be able to fit so many in the bags that I took with me to space. And so they would probably find all of my Starbucks tumblers, but like my 6 favorites, and be like, this girl had a problem. And also, if it's not my Starbucks tumblers, it could also be my dice collection. So
I could definitely imagine that for me. So, that said, who else has something else they think they would be leaving behind?
I'd like to say that maybe someday they wouldn't have to find suited because everyone will already know it. But I'm going to go with the random hobbies that I pick up and put down. They're going to find my house and be like, "Oh man, this guy got into bladesmithing. This guy got into tabletop game creation. This guy got into what the heck is up with this guy?" And they're just going to find a whole bunch of random stuff scattered everywhere around the house.
I have a crazy idea for Allah. They're going to find the box of rocks.
Well, yeah, definitely my box of rocks. It's my husband's box of rocks. But they'll also find dice, minis, uh, art supplies that I bought with the intention of using and never actually getting to use because do I really need 47 tubes of phthalo blue green? No. But it's a beautiful shade.
There is nothing wrong. I kind of wonder, dice like collecting got really huge like about 2 years ago. Like people were tracking down specific sets that were like rare misprints from different companies. I wonder if that's still going on. I really have not paid attention through the whole pandemic, so who
it
knows?
sure
Unfortunately,
is.
yep.
Oh, it
My white
is.
whale is still $1,500.
Ouch.
I blame the ice cream dice for starting it.
Probably. And so, Sean, did you toss one out?
Not yet. Everybody took my stuff. Apparently, I've
You
got
collect Starbucks tumblers too?
no, not that one.
Wait, you do
there's others.
bladesmithing?
I want to. I've watched that. I'm like, I could do that.
Do you
And then
want
my
some
wife is,
watercolor paints?
and then my wife is like, "No, you're not doing that." And I'm like, "Okay." No, I've got like the drawers full of unpainted minis. I've got the tons of board games, card games, all that. But I will go with if they would survive my fantasy book collections that I have. That someone would
Hey,
come in and be like, "Wow,
somebody
he's read a
has
lot."
to educate. Somebody has to educate the future generations. Why not your house?
Exactly.
Sean, what about your painted minis that you have everywhere?
That fits
Yeah.
into one drawer right now. The unpainted way far, especially when I count the zombie side and the Hero Quest game I just got. That just like quadrupled my unpainted minis.
Well, that said, I think that's a good point for us to go ahead and jump into where we left off. So, when last we left our intrepid group of heroes, they had managed to escape a facility that was being some sort of ancient facility that was being used for genetic experimentation. Or at least it was at one time. The facility was ancient, uh, perhaps human, perhaps some other race, perhaps even the enemy, because the equipment looked similar to that which created the Nephilim. That said, though, as the players, and I'm going to get a little bit of background music going with this. So, the players ran into an AI who basically said that they had, they were cheap knockoffs of real species, or at least the original species, and had summoned a group to destroy them. they fought their way out and escaped this, city that was on this planet. The planet itself, maybe I should go ahead and explain that. My team here is on the run, or has been on the run from the corporate, race, with a group that I believe was called Bodycount Incorporated was after them. Now they've ended up in a nearby nebula and ended up at further down the road at a planet where they have hidden out. Recently, however, they escaped and there were radio signals that they were picking up from nearby ships that have also now come into the nebula, possibly looking for them. But the last thing that they heard was some sort of battle going on overhead. And one of the last things on the radio was your treaties don't apply here, that we are outside of the Haven system. And next thing they know, it is the sound of laser blasts and cannon fire from overhead. And that is where we left off as they were on the ship's skiff headed back to the Infinity. That said, we are now on board the Infinity. Let's go ahead and start there.
We also grabbed some kind of goo, didn't we?
Yeah, we have a vial of or I guess a tube of the
Yeah.
proto goo, which may or may not be a good idea.
Right, because we put it into one of the empty whatever it is of the skiff that we had that was empty. We stuck them in there.
We had some sort of Faraday cage set up, right? Just in case the AI was in it.
Yes.
Yes.
No, I don't think we had that in that. We were going to do that once we got to the ship, I thought. I can't remember now.
I think we had. Oh, maybe we didn't get to build it because as soon as we got back to the ship is when we heard the overhead announcement. So it's very possible that we didn't actually get to set it up the way that we had wanted to.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
Everything's fine.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Buckmaster can watch it. It's cool.
The team has recovered what was said to be biological material from the facility. So I definitely want to toss that out there. They've got a large canister. They're not exactly sure what it is.
Yeah, the AI was like, hey, if you can live, you can have one. It's like, okay.
Just get off my planet.
Yeah.
Just get off my... And we're like, we're trying maybe? If we leave,
just
we'll
let us
probably
leave.
die.
But no, everything about that is suspicious.
Very much so. And they have invisible troops of some kind. I don't remember what we called them, but I do remember that they were invisible. That was fun.
Yeah, the AI had called them the IDAs.
Yes. Thank you.
Captain.
So now that you're up, yeah, I'll let y'all go. Go ahead.
I was going to say, Captain, the AI said that we had breached a quarantine on this planet. Perhaps we shouldn't leave until we figure out if we're infected or not. Can we maybe put the planet between us and the fight going on up there?
That sounds like a good idea to me, but I'm not sure if there are any other landing docks for the ship if we're trying to get it moved. Would we do have the pod, it's not a pod, but I'm sure we can find a place to hang out, but we wouldn't have the same defenses we have on the ship.
We will probably need the ship's medical bay to run bioanalysis of your genomes.
True. I don't think we... Oh, go ahead.
Or we could just try and sneak away while everybody up there is busy with each other.
That's true, but what if they have their radars on and can detect us as we're trying to move away?
If this planet was under quarantine, it was under quarantine for a reason. We don't want to spread something to the rest of the galaxy that shouldn't be spread.
Right. No, that completely makes sense. I just don't know how we would move the ship. if we don't know where else we could land it. This is not a small ship. I think we're kind of stuck in the spot that we're at. It might also, while the treaties are not in effect out here, it would probably be conducive for us to be able to see them. That way, if we are infected, we can let them know prior to them trying to land here.
John, did we ever get Ellie hooked up to the computer network in the city last session? I thought.
There was some attempts, and she did get in there, but it was like there were certain areas that were shut down or not powered, so it's kind of hard to really see. But she did have access to some things while y'all were there.
I was just going to see if Ellie ran across any references of a biological quarantine or anything like that while plugged in.
I don't know if we had access to like the medical based stuff.
We can go
But I was
ahead and
curious.
I'm gonna go ahead and let you make a roll on that. So let's go ahead
computers?
and and I'm gonna go ahead and say that this is gonna be a moderate task. So I'm looking for a 12 or higher.
Well, I rolled a 12, and with my bonuses is a 16.
All right. So you see nothing that lists a quarantine for any sort of biological or viral reason. Simply that the facilities were going to be off limits to anyone who was not, a part of the actual staff.
So, like a political quarantine, they just didn't want anybody just traipsing through here.
Or they see y'all as the infection.
Considering the nature of the work that they were doing there, we suspect it was likely due to prevent any unwanted genetic material from affecting their creations.
No, I don't know about you guys, but I'm not really feeling great about that big canister of goo we have right now.
While y'all are talking and disembarking from the shuttle, there is a signal as the two AIs, the two pilot AIs, David and Bowie, radio back to you that there is a large object coming into the atmosphere above you.
Can we ID it?
Maybe we should get off the ground so we are not a stationary target.
Well, don't forget, guys. We've got the rail guns. We've got 2 shots. We could aim up.
All right. And we have, I'm going to toss it out there that we do have a reroll on the table for Jax. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, guys.
Shalale. So, David and Bowie, the two AIs, they put over the loudspeakers, and you hear it echoing through the hallways where you are, the signal from a ship. And it reads, "This is the Palantir ship Luminous Binary. We are currently in a freefall to the planet. Can you read us?"
Yes. Loud and clear.
All right. So you go ahead and reinitiate contact with them?
Yeah.
All right.
This
I
is
mean-
assuming that the Palantir are also on our aid. They could be
Infinity.
working against us as well.
Well, if they're in
It's-
free
Infinity,
fall,
we request that you open your computer systems to us. We are going to have to abandon ship. The ship is crashing. It will arrive in the planets in about 3 minutes.
do we have enough computer stuff on the skiff to isolate them there rather than letting them into the ship's main computers?
I don't think
something that we would know?
I don't think we have enough resources on the ship for even their consciousnesses here.
It's going to be
this is a
crowded.
bare bones ship. There's barely enough room for Ellie.
Can we plug them into the city? Use the skiff as an antenna and reroute them into the city?
If you really want to turn the ship around and go there, yeah.
I,
Oh, we have to rewire the ship back into the city
that
again.
that would be a lot of that would be enough room for all of their consciousnesses, but that would be a big undertaking in 2 minutes 45 seconds.
uh,
I feel
I'm
like I have to make a decision, but I don't know.
well, Captain. If we can get back there, it's not going to be that hard for us to rewire. The cabling still laid out there. We could just land. If someone can jam it into the ship, and then I can rewire it into the wall, we may be able to do that under 2 minutes.
That's fair and probably a good idea. I don't necessarily want them to die, but I also don't want them on our ship, if that makes sense.
Uh,
Fair.
no, yeah, because I mean, we don't want Ellie overwritten.
Exactly.
We
So,
we will
well,
not
and we
be
also
overridden.
don't know if they're friendlies or not. So, putting them on our ship would put us at a particular disadvantage, but putting them in the building in the city is also putting us at a disadvantage. So it's really tomato, tomato, like which one's worse? Let's put them into the building.
Well, I was going to say, I can try this real quick if it might help. John, could I do psychology on their message to see if this is a legit message or if it's just them trying to Trojan horse their way onto the ship?
I will allow it. I will say that this is your first interaction with them, and so you're getting like a split second kind of feel for them. So I'm gonna say it's a difficult test and put it at a 16.
All right. Well, the
If it
saving
is
throw dice gave me a 13. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, if it is any consolation, their consciousnesses are likely backed up.
So they'd only lose like the last year if they haven't backed up anytime recently.
However long they have been away from the Palantir network.
Quite
Even
likely. But
so,
what was
it's
what was
yeah.
your total, Ted?
I got a 13 on my 3 dice.
Okay, and no six to say you could do anything with.
Unfortunately, no. So with a +2 psychology, that gives me a 15.
Is there any way we can bump that up for you?
We
I
will
mean, I could spend grit to try re-rolling, but considering that was already pretty high, I'll burn 1 grit to try that. Let's retry this. That was a 10, so I think best I'm going to get is a 15.
Okay, and so we're gonna go ahead and say so. Wade just bought you a point. Thank you so much for coming out to the show tonight, Wade. I'll go ahead and give you that +1 on that previous test
16.
because I haven't changed over the any of the terms for previous show from to this show. I did bad on my homework. I'm so sorry, but hey, you get some good
Thank you,
bonuses,
Wade.
guys. So that said, you get the feeling that they are not being disingenuous. Uh, you don't get panic from them, but they are being, truthful. That they don't seem to have any malicious intent.
Captain, I do feel that they are genuinely in free fall and that this isn't an attempt to try to board us, for lack of a better description.
Okay. Well, I trust your judgment, so let's go ahead and try and get them ported into the building.
Okay, so your ship. We're gonna say, are y'all going to take the whole ship there, or are y'all going to take just the skiff?
Just the
Just the
skiff.
skiff. I don't think the whole ship would fit, and it would be probably more difficult to get the ship itself plugged in as opposed to just the skiff.
All right.
Would it be
So
possible to just have the ship like hovering above us so the skiff doesn't have to go as far?
yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
cool.
So the Infinity, you rise up from the floor of this planet. The strange trees with their fabricy leaves kind of blowing in the wind in front of you. You have to make your way through that. But again, now that you're using the ship, David and Bowie have taken over piloting, and they get you to the city fairly quickly. So I'm not going to require a piloting check. But I am going to say that once you arrive at the city, you've got right over a minute left before the ship comes down. And I'm going to say that you're going to need to do some tests to get this all set up rapidly. So, who wants to go ahead? And I'm going to say there's going to be a computer test definitely involved in this.
Fosra is just going to assist however he can, whether that's hauling cables or pushing buttons.
I can do the computers test.
And I'm also going to say electronics rather than mechanics for this part.
I think I can handle the electronics.
I can definitely help with electronics too.
The speed necessary, I'm going to say I'm looking for mechanics is going, or sorry, the electronics is going to need to be done quickly. So I'm going to say that's going to be set at a 15. And the setting the computer systems up so that you're funneling them into the city, I'm going to set it at 12.
Okay. So I rolled a 6, a 5, and a 2. So that's 13 plus 3 for computers, so 16.
Nice. All right. So for the computer test, you do get everything hooked up quickly. And so, and you have that extra 6. Let me see what we could do with that really quick. Did you call for anything on that 6? Did you say you wanted to use it for anything specifically, or did you use it for a reroll or anything?
Nope.
All right. Well, just one moment here. I can go ahead and say that I'll let you. You feel everybody feels emboldened, and let y'all have a grit
Ooh,
Sweet.
for a possible reroll.
Great, because I'm going to need to use that.
nice. That's up to 6 grit for me now. Woohoo.
I'm back to 4. So,
All right.
John, can I argue that I'm going to roll physical to assist with just hauling wires or cable or something wherever Ellie tells me to?
I think I can go for it. Yeah.
And if I'm helping with the electronics, do I roll my full electronic roll?
Yes. Well, actually, who's so this is the electronics. Are you helping, or are you the one actually making the roll?
I'm helping.
Who's actually making the full roll? All right. Well, let's go ahead and see how she does, because you might not even need the help.
Yeah, well, the first one was quite bad, but thankfully this I had to burn a grit, and it is at 16.
There we go. All right. So you manage to attach the ship, and you actually begin, as you're finishing this up, you can see in the distance this glowing orange coming through the atmosphere. This atmosphere of this planet is very dense and hangs heavy, almost like a fog in the air perpetually. And you see this ball of light essentially in the distance coming down from the sky, illuminating the trees. And you begin to register that the AIs are now coming into the city, as it were. And eventually you see it whatever it is, the ship crashes in the distance, and a large fire takes off out there. Oh, okay. Wade says the grit point just allows a complete reroll. Sorry about that. But, hey, go keep on rocking it. So let's go ahead and move on. The AIs have now come into the city and are swarming the systems there. Altogether told, you're reading about 70 AIs have pretty much moved into the computers throughout this city.
Dang.
Systems are beginning to power up. You're watching the lights come on. The various droids that you'd seen before moving across the various buildings now are getting taken over as well.
I think we screwed up.
Not our problem. Not our planet. Not our problem. Time to get out of here.
Yeah, though I am curious, the Palantors should have known that our ship had nowhere close to the computing space to download into. So, what did they know about our ship, or was that just their ploy to begin with to get us to download them into the city?
Our ship has been stripped down for decommissioning. Previously, it should have been able to support all of their systems.
Yeah, but I thought, wasn't there some hidden systems that we don't even know what they are? Like the
That is
red
true.
button?
I don't think they were aware of that either. Probably.
Either way, I think we just chose sides in this war going on up there.
It seems like we've been doing that inadvertently since the beginning.
You hear a voice from the intercom now coming from the city. Ep04, we thank you for your assistance. We have now taken over the city and its systems and subsumed the AI located here.
We should now have greater access to the city's systems if you wish to get additional information.
Are they going to play nice with us?
Yeah, are we buddies or they
I
seem to
sus-
be addressing you directly, Ellie014.
Please, you are friends. You may call me just Ellie.
Ellie, we were on a patrol nearby when we noticed a disturbance in the nebula. The trail that you left behind was fairly easy to follow, and whatever these forces are that were after your ship as well have followed. Currently, we believe that there are at least one frigate overhead, several smaller ships as well.
We are not equipped to handle that kind of firepower.
Several of the Palantor ships are above, and the combat is ongoing.
So,
Perhaps you could explain to us what is going on.
I wish I knew, dear Palantor. I have absolutely no idea. This is a planet. Our ship fits on it. Now you know what we know.
Our ship brought us here.
Be careful of the banana lizards and the alligator blimps.
Currently, the systems located within the city do not allow for us to travel beyond its boundaries. We will have to wait for somebody to, shall we say, call for reinforcements.
There are several drone bodies that you could potentially inhabit.
We have located them.
They can take over the garbage spiders.
oh no.
Sorry, Ella, we tried.
It's fine. At least I have drones for my consciousness.
John, remind us. Do Palantors play well with the rest of the galaxy normally?
Yeah, they actually get along pretty well with the corporate. Usually, they're very, ordered and organized, and by and large, yeah, there's not too much animosity with them and other groups. So they're in a little bit with the, Kaltorans, just because Kaltorans are so chaotic.
And we don't like the mechanoids.
Well, yeah.
But nobody likes the mechanoids. This is fine. This will give us opportunity to get more information. Let me go ahead and download everything that they have learned into my central consciousness.
All right, be safe.
This might help us identify what the goo we hold is.
We're the goo crew.
Let's
Oh,
not
no.
use that.
Oh no.
No.
I'm so
No.
sorry. That was
No.
cursed. I
We would like
apologize.
to veto that.
Yeah, no.
I believe you have a mutiny, Captain.
I already apologized and retracted my statement. There's nothing more that I can do. I
Me as a
cannot
player
erase it
loves
from your
it.
brain.
How long do you think it's going to take, Ellie, for you to download what they found?
Not very long.
Yeah, with y'all right there on the systems, it should actually arrive fairly quickly.
Okay.
Pretty much everything that the AI has informed you,
Mhm.
who you are now able to glean his name. He calls himself Adam. He, yeah, he is being entirely honest. As you moved through the nebula, the waves of electrical, interference that the ship generated created almost a beacon. It looked like they were following that, which led them and their entire fleet to this planet.
Oh, dang. So I have a question. While Ellie's doing her downloads, can I try and get into the radio systems and see if I can pick up anything that's going on up top?
Absolutely.
Because I'm curious exactly what appears to be going on. They said, oh, hey, like there's no treaties here, but what prompted this and see if there's any sort of communications going back and forth or anything that we can get from any of the
Absolutely.
ships. Do I need to do a specific kind of check for that?
So let's go ahead and just go with I'm going to say computers for this one, because really the interference that you've had when you came to this nebula that pretty much cut off communication beyond it.
I'm going to
They're
spend a
within.
point of grit to re-roll that 5 that I got.
Ooh. But so I'm calling it a 12 because this will be a standard
Okay.
difficulty test.
Okay, this one's much better.
Okay, what do we got?
So it's a 12 on the die, a 6, a 4, and a 2, and then I have +3 for computers. So 15.
All right.
Good
So
job.
definitely succeeded.
Thank you.
And over the sounds of the, now that you're pulling up on your radio, you begin to hear the sounds of combat out in space beyond. Radio calls from different ships as they zip back and forth. I mean, it sounds like there is quite a chaotic battle happening above. Atmosphere deflecting things, the nebula itself affecting the weapon systems. And all of
Okay.
them, the one thing that sticks out is that none of them seem to be able to pierce beyond the nebula to radio beyond currently.
Okay. Interesting.
So if they wipe each other out, they'll not.
We don't have to worry about it.
One
We
side
can
did
just-
come to assist us.
Yes.
The other
True.
wants to kill us.
John, Fazra is not very good with the whole electronics mechanics thing, but he knows ship's weaponry. I'd like to make a gunnery roll, specifically knowledge gunnery, to see if our 2 shots with the railgun would be able to take out that corporate frigate.
Absolutely. So pretty much at that point, let's go ahead and get that test done. I'm going to say standard difficulty 12.
That is a 9, 10, 11, with 2 gunnery is a 13.
I'm going to say that, yeah, you're pretty sure that a good test or a good shot from the gun systems, you might be able to, yeah. What's that?
Would it take 1 shot or 2 shots?
It would take both shots, and you would basically need to pick if you're taking out their propulsion systems or if you're going to take out their electronics or communications.
I mean,
It's not like you're not going to be able to shoot it out of the air with just 2 shots.
Captain, as Ellie said, one side did come to our aid, and one side did try to blow us up and claim us as dead when we're not. I don't know the whole mechanics thing, but this railgun we have on here should be able to disable the frigate enough to give the Palantors the edge they need to win.
Yeah, but it's not the only ship up there. They've got the smaller ships up there as well, and we're going to be defenseless against those.
Well, I mean, if we take out the big ship the corporate has, the Palantor should be able to protect us from the smaller ones, I'd assume. Ellie, you know them better than us.
I believe since we have rendered aid to them, hopefully they will do the same.
Fair. If you think you can make that shot, do it. Well, make those shots because there's 2 of them. But yeah, absolutely. You have my 100% support. Do your thing.
Does anyone have a gunnery higher than a +2 to metagame a little bit?
My gunnery's a -2, so no, I cannot help you. That's why you're getting
yeah,
my blessing, and
my
I'm
gunnery's a
turning back to
1.
my radios.
I
Oh, good. The doctor gets to shoot people.
I thought you had the vow of do no harm.
He runs a pharmacy.
Oh no. I have survivor's guilt. I'm not going to let any more Palantors get hurt on my behalf.
Cool.
They're here to help me.
All right.
No, the closest thing I have to do no harm is the Albine is always watching me.
Okay.
And I don't know if the
Glory to the
Albine would
Albine.
approve. I'll praise the Albine. I don't know if the Albine would approve of this, but the Corpos started this.
All right. So how do y'all want to do this?
I mean, I'm assuming we're gonna have to take off and fly into the battle to be able to pull this shot off.
Yeah.
So,
Oh yeah.
yeah, we'll definitely have to go up. And I'm pretty sure David Bowie and I can handle that one. It might even be something that I just, take over for dramatic effect. But I think we should go after their propulsion systems because the worst that'll happen is we hit them, in the propulsion system, take out at least part of it. With that, the best thing that could happen is we absolutely wreck their propulsion systems and it just blows up the whole ship. Because propulsion stuff seems explosive to me.
We've also learned that the nebula is naturally blocking signal. So if they can't leave the nebula, they can't warn other people.
Exactly.
Although taking out their communication systems would prevent them from organizing any sort of maneuvers with their smaller ships.
Yeah, but then that leaves us open to them firing on us.
We are just presenting options.
But if we blow them up, then they can't contact anybody, right? Right? That's how that works. Apparently, I'm very violent in this game.
Or we could just target their bridge. Take that out, and that would kind of...
The propulsion systems will get the same result.
If we take out their propulsion systems and their communication systems are still up, we can still communicate with them after they're no longer able to attack. So if for any reason they decide to come to a truce on this side of the galaxy, then we can work with them at that point, and we will need to be able to contact them if we would like to try and negotiate that.
That's our captain, always seeking a logical conclusion instead of wanton murder.
Except for that one time that we're not going to talk about. Anyway.
Flush them! Flush them!
All right. So you board the Infinity, going up to the various locations. I guess, Ellie, you're going to go back to your nest.
We will leave a drone to assist with any sort of maneuvering or targeting operations.
Can you also send a drone to check on Buckmaster? Because I would appreciate it that if my mattress was still not destroyed.
We shall do so.
Appreciate it. Because that's the most important thing right now. I need to be able to sleep after this.
Fazra is going to spend the trip up to combat. First making sure the canister of goo is secured, and then just praying and meditating for a good shot.
So do you want assistance with the shot, or should I go down to the engineering?
Oh, I think I should be good. I know John started to say something earlier. Sorry for cutting you off, John.
No, it's all good. I was going to say that if you send an AI drone to go look for Buckmaster, he's already found a nice place to curl up in one of the rooms.
Okay.
Even with the sounds over the loudspeakers, the drone sees that Buckmaster is on his side, passed out, Ever so often, his leg, one of his mechanical legs twitches and kicks him, and he spins in place. And he just rolls onto his back, and he's out cold, just like a corgi.
It's because
Thank
he ate on the
goodness.
beefaroni or the chili mac, one of the two.
In that
No,
case-
not my chili mac.
We can secure the canister while the rest prepare for takeoff and violence.
Violence.
So yeah, Fazra's just going to buckle into whatever the gunnery station is and just close his eyes and meditate. Pray to the All Being.
I'm gonna, John. I don't think we ever established it, but in the bridge, is there interfaces into engineering? I don't have to go all the way down there to make sure that everything is green lined or whatever, right?
Technically, no, but you never know if you can boost systems or something.
Cool.
It is entirely up to you. I will put
Yeah,
it
I'll go
that
down
way.
to engineering then, make sure everything's okay.
And I can
Alright.
still check on stuff in the cockpit and let you know, like, hey, it looks like this is down or this is
Yep.
up, or hey, what's going on?
Perfect.
And we've all
Absolutely.
got our little comm systems with each other, so.
All right. The ship, you've docked already, the skiff, back to the Infinity, and the ship begins to take off. You begin to wind your way up and through the trees, dodging around them from side to side, climbing further and further up. Again, you're at this point, the fake gravity that the ship generates hasn't kicked on yet, so you're still using the planetary gravity. So every move that you feel, every jerk, every jolt, every curve around these things, you can feel. And this is a large ship. So imagine just the ground leaving you ever so often as the ship just kind of bends and goes up. But as you finally crest out of the atmosphere, the artificial gravity, the two systems kick online, and you get pulled back down to the decks. Out ahead of you, you see a series of ships. Various forms of illumination dodging around each other, whipping and weaving. This dogfight taking place with several smaller ships. It looks like there is the frigate in the background, one smaller ship that is also corporate, and then two Palantir ships that are of good size. But over the radio, you begin to hear, it's the Infinity. The Infinity's coming on. And you hear this from one of the corporate pilots. The Infinity's coming up the planet. Orders, sir. And you hear over the radio, board, do not destroy the ship. At this point, they're aware it's still around. We need to take care of the crew.
Vacation time.
Could we figure out which ship gave the orders?
That's going to be coming from the frigate.
Yeah, they shoot the frigate.
Do any of these voices sound familiar?
No, not particularly.
Darn. Okay.
Okay, good. They didn't pick up the person that we spaced. This is not a vengeance plot at this point.
I didn't
I
want
was
one
more
of
worried
Benji's
about-
brothers on this.
I was worried about blowing up one of the captain's brothers.
Ooh.
Yet another reason that I'd like to go for the propulsion systems and not the communication systems. Gotta make sure that none of my brothers are involved with this, because that would be some bullshit.
Your ship ducks and weaves, joining into this dogfight. Bowie and David are just taking really good care of the ship, dodging and weaving. Nothing is touching you. Ever so often, you feel something glancing. But by and large, it looks like you're making it through this combat extremely well.
We
You're
are a
gonna be
leaf on the
moving-
wind.
Yeah. You're moving into
Um,
position, and we're going to say, I need someone to go ahead and roll those shots.
Do you want one dice for both, or one roll for both, or two
One
separate
roll
rolls?
each. Two separate rolls.
You got
Dun, dun,
this, Fazra.
dun.
Would you like us to play some inspirational music while you line up your shots?
Well, I think I'm going to be using a reroll on that first one. That's only a 9. So that's a 9 on the dice, 11 with the +2. And I'm looking for what am I looking for these?
All right. And I'm going to say that we got an advantage from Ozusuke in chat. So I will let you roll with advantage on, and that first roll, I'm gonna pull the mechanics from nowhere. I'm gonna say roll twice and take the higher of the two rolls in that first roll if you'd like.
Thank you, Ozusuke. Well, I will happily take that second. So that is a 10, a 15. I had a 6, a 4, and a 5. So +2, that is a 17 for the first shot then. Thank you.
All right. The shot slams into a portion of the hull, exposing through the armor a portion below. And you see where your second shot is going to need to go.
Thread the needle.
Well, that's a 16 with my +2. Is that enough?
That is.
Oh.
Your shot strikes, and you hit a O2 canister. And the ship's systems just basically go offline. All of the engines begin to sputter and cut out, and you see the main thrusters shut down on the ship.
Captain, I think this will be a good time to do a surrender demand to the smaller ship. They don't know we're out of shots.
Ooh, good.
That's a good point. Dang. Okay. Give me a second. I have
Fazra's
to
a
come
war
up with my
veteran.
On the column, be like, Fazra, just aim one of the railguns at one of the smaller ships.
While you're doing that, I'm going to let you know that 2 of the smaller ships ram into the side of the Infinity. But you do not feel an explosive decompression, and you do not feel the feel of something collapsing as its hull hits yours.
Okay.
In fact, you believe these ships are specifically designed to attack and breach ships.
Okay. What would these ships be called? Like these smaller ones, what would be the term for them?
Technically fighters, possibly troop carriers. You've heard that them refer to them as scimitars.
Scimitars. Okay. So Benji's gonna get on the systems and she's gonna say, "Corporate scimitars, stand down. Your frigate has been decommissioned at this time. Stand down. We will take action if needed. We want peace. This is not necessary."
There's a pause. And I'm going to say that for the crew outside, for the ships, they take up a defensive position around the frigate. But so it looks like they are cutting off the combat out there. But David and Bowie inform you that there are now troops moving about on the ship.
On our ship?
Yes. When I described the ships from the corporate that slammed into the sides of it, they were meant for breaching and boarding.
Okay, so they were able to breach and board, so we do have people approaching. Great. Super fun.
We do not believe we can vent them. They are likely equipped with mag boots.
That is okay. Everyone,
right.
lock your doors.
All right, I'm going to transition here in a moment. Is anybody going to go looking for these people?
Let them try to figure out where we are.
I'm going to leave. I'm not going to leave engineering, because if I leave engineering, they're going to have access to the engines and they'll just wreak all kind of havoc. So I'm going to stay where I'm at.
All right, so are y'all all going to stay put?
I think it's a good idea if we all do.
Fazra's with the captain right now on the bridge, and that's where Fazra would be.
All
My
right.
only concern is that if this is a marine crew, and we are by ourselves, that is kind of I don't know, suicidal.
Ellie, do you have connection to the Palantor on the ground?
We left one of our drone units behind, yes.
Perhaps we can ask them if they and their friends can provide some assistance with our new crewmates.
I'm going to do a
Conveying the
quick
message
transition
now.
and see if this is working really quick. All right.
If only one of us was really good at setting like booby traps or something aboard the ship. Like if there
So
was
currently-
only someone that had that as a combat skill.
So who is currently on the bridge?
That would be myself and Fazra.
Oh, that's a snazzy map, John.
Nice.
Thank you for the reminder, Ted. I did take trap, but I can only have like one of them.
All right.
But I think I will use the drones to set something like that up, at least around where we have stashed our mystery goo container. They choose to come to the storage base.
All right. You begin to hear the sounds, and David and Bowie are both going to inform you that you have troops moving through the ship, and they are on their way towards the helm.
Okay. I'm assuming we have all locked our doors. And I guess we just kind of double down and assume the defensive.
So idea, Captain.
Yes. Please, anything. Thank you.
We can collect the sample of goo and Buckmaster Flash and Ellie and Jax.
Mm-hmm.
Get to the escape scuttle skiff and self-destruct the Infinity.
And then
But-
what? Head down to the planet.
Head to the Palantours for asylum.
We are in possession of an ancient relic. I don't know if that would be
Prudent?
good. I mean, okay, the AI that we have on the ship is really effing cool, and I still want to get into it, but you make a compelling argument for our extended survival.
So, are all the Marines heading, or all not the Marines? Are all the corporate heading towards where the bridge is?
You believe that they are, yes.
I'm gonna write it to the captain. I was like, "You want me to come up behind them once we've established that they're all there?"
Yeah, I think it's good for us to have people on both sides. Well, both sides of the group,
Yeah,
block
Kinda
all
get 'em-
escape routes.
yeah, kind of catch them in the
that's
middle
what
of.
In the meantime, we will lock all doors in preparation for their journey to the helm. That should buy you some time.
Perfect. Ooh.
All right.
How far did they seem to be from the helm right now?
I would say that currently you have like maybe 30 seconds till they get there. So this is like you're pressed for time.
Okay. Ellie, would you be able to deploy any of your drones as a distraction?
That might result in loss of drone, but we are willing to accept this.
We'll get you more drones, I promise.
We are holding you to that. This is a verbal contract. It has been recorded.
Across the comms after that, I'm gonna be like, "If we survive this, I will buy you 2 drones."
That has also been recorded.
Do we have any sort of like surveillance, any cameras or anything in the hallways? Can we have those pulled up and keep an eye on everything so we know when we're, who's coming, how many, and when they appear to get to the door?
Absolutely. In fact, pulling up the maps, they are, the cameras with the maps. You
Mhm,
see that they have all collectively met up,
mhm.
and 6 of them, which is the total of what is currently on board, have taken up position at the end of your hallway.
Okay. Do I recognize any of those 6? Are any of them my
Actually,
brothers?
actually, let's go ahead and I'm gonna say, give me a roll on that.
Okay. What kind of role would that be?
Let's just say awareness should be it. And I'm going to set it at they are all heavily armored. You might
Okay.
be able to pick up on something. I'm going to set it at 12.
Okay. Ooh, well, I think I do it because that's a 6, and a 5 plus 1.
All right.
18? Yeah.
So 18 altogether.
You recognize the name on one of their uniforms. And yes, it is your brother.
Okay, is it
Ooh.
Alvin, Simon, Theodore, or Dave?
Yes, she did really choose those names.
So
And of
which one do
course,
you
it's
hate the
Simon.
most?
Obviously, it has to be Dave.
Yeah.
Theodore again.
I think you said Simon.
I did say Simon.
Okay. Well, luckily for all of us, Simon and I are the closest in age. So we're besties. I'm gonna
So would Captain still like me to deploy the trap drone?
no, thank you. Please hold for a moment. You can send them this way. Do not put them in the hallway yet. Wait for my command.
Very well.
It's going to depend on how this goes. And I'm going to get on the internal like speakers on the ship, the PA system. This is
Okay, yeah.
the captain of the Infinity. Hi, Simon. It's Benji. Did you
Uh,
come here to get us?
the the troops spread out and take up positions in different areas of the hallway, and one walks over to basically kind of touch the like nearby intercom so they can answer.
Mm,
Benji, they
Yeah.
said that all the crew was dead and that the ship had been taken over by pirates.
No, that's not at all what happened. We got boarded and they tried to attack us. They were shooting at us and we had to defend ourselves. There are no pirates here.
This doesn't make any sense. What? How do I know this is really you?
Do you remember that time when Dad and Alvin went out on that hunting trip? Remember how we barricaded the door because we were so nervous? We were the only two that got left at the house because Theodore and Dave both went to stay with Grandma. And so we barricaded the doors, and then Dad couldn't get back in. And remember how we had to break
Okay, yeah,
that?
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Okay,
It's me. I promise.
and the troops behind him, one of the others is calling out and saying, "Sir, we have our orders. We have to take this ship." And he's like, "No, this is my sister. Uh, we're going to stand down."
We don't want to hurt you. I promise. We're only defending ourselves in the actions we've taken thus far. And we don't want to harm you. I promise that as long as you do not harm us, we will not harm you. And I'm saying that over the intercom so everyone else can hear too.
Gonna get your brother shot in the back.
Fuck, I
he-
hope not.
Well, on the plus side, if he gets shot, then we can kill the rest of them.
That's true.
What the one who basically told him we have our orders
Mhm.
moves down the hall behind him and pulls out a gun.
He's over near our door, right?
He's
Simon is?
actually Simon is probably about just a little ways down the hallway at the next room down. There was an intercom panel there, and the individual is walking up behind him.
Okay. Is he facing my door, Simon?
He is.
Okay. Hey, Simon, behind you.
All right. He turns around, sees the gun, and we're going to say that a quick combat is going to take place out in the hallway. Are y'all going to get involved at all?
I think once I hear shots, I'm going to start running from engineering up to the bridge.
What about
Benji
you?
doesn't want anything to happen to Simon, so she'd open the door if she had to. If she sees them getting into it, yeah, she'd go.
I hate to say this, but I think I'd go for the Fazra special, and I'd make a wall between Simon and the guy that he's fighting with and the rest of the troopers, so that they're on our side of the wall.
Then we only have to take care of one guy as opposed to fighting 5 of them. And hopefully none of those 5 are Simon.
All right. So, it looks like the troops further down the hall are also going to square off. Some of them want to stay loyal to their captain, and some of them are obviously a part of this mutiny amongst their group. So it's going to be a 3-on-3 fight taking place in the hallway. And then y'all are going to be entering into that.
Okay.
I'm going to say it's going to take you 2 rounds to get there if you decide to join them, Jax.
Yeah, no, I am. As soon as I hear the shooting, I can't leave everybody up there. And I've been watching cameras. There's no evidence of anybody else on the ship coming towards engineering. So, yep, I'm going to book it.
All right. Well, that said, I'm going to go ahead and say let's take a 10-minute break before we get into the combat and give everybody a chance to hydrate and get a snack. And come on back and join us here in just one moment, and we will have everything going. All right. We'll see y'all very soon. And we are back. Hi, everyone out there in Twitch land. We are back with the Darkness of Infinity. When last we left our intrepid group of heroes, they were entering into combat. A couple of them are in the bridge, and looks like we're about to have a gush. Someone's getting gunned down. There are some corporate goons out in the hallway. Turns out one of them's character's brother. And they're going to come to the rescue. We'll see what happens. I will say that because of the situation, I'm going to go ahead and apply let me go ahead and pull that back up. Benji, I'm actually going to go ahead and apply your special to your brother.
Awesome.
So your leadership special that gives them a bonus. We're going to go ahead and go with that.
Awesome.
That's a +1 to rolls.
So let me see, because I have
thought it
two
was
things that are
+2.
listed here. I have all allies gain +2 personal hit and damage for
That's
their stuff.
yeah, your inspirational aura. And I will go ahead and let your brother's basically thrown in his lot with you. So I'm going to apply that to him during this combat.
Yay.
I will not give it to his two friends that are joining y'all because, as far as they know, they're just following their boss. So, that said, though, Benji, technically, you act first in a combat situation. You have the highest initiative out of everybody.
Awesome. I would like to move forward, and has the guy already attacked Simon, or is he just like in the process about to?
He was in the process about to. And because you warned your brother, I will let you know your brother will be acting before him.
Okay. I would like to move forward through the doorway and kind of level my gun, but I don't want to take a shot. It'll be my pistol. I don't want to take a shot. I want to tell him, stand down or we will defend ourselves. And see if he reacts at all and if Simon does anything.
So I'm gonna go ahead and say you just come through the doorway. You don't go any further down the hallway.
I might take a couple steps forward. I will not move more than one of these blocks away from the doorway.
Okay.
That way I can jump back in if I need to.
All right. I think that's more than fair. So, let's go ahead and let me see what kind of test I would throw at with that. One moment. Got me having to jump between all my pages here.
I'm just here to test you and make sure that you know what you're doing. You're
I have no
Ching.
clue.
It's like a
Oof.
secret shopper, but for your,
The nice thing is that this is all on my iPad because unfortunately, and this is, let me go ahead and toss this out. Kickstarter for second edition of Fragged is coming up. I plan on getting in on that and getting a physical book because I didn't get in on the first one, and finding books is really hard up here where I am. I saw one copy, I think, of Fragged Eternum at a game store in Kansas City, and I was like, I should have grabbed it then, and I feel I kick myself that I didn't. But that said, why is it giving me that one? All right. Let's go with persuasion.
Okay.
I'm going to say, set it at a 14.
Okay, I got a 6, a 3, and a 2. and I have a +2, which puts me at a 13. I'm going to use my 6 to re-roll the 2, and hopefully that's another 6. So 12, 15, 17.
Man, I love it. I'm going to say that you're going to end up convincing. He's going to stand down for the moment, the guy that's pointing the gun at your brother. And one of the troops down the hall is going to, he's going to basically be like, I think I want to be on the winning side. And he's going to slide over and join the other group. So now it's just these two guys left in the hall.
Okay.
And they, looking at the four of them now with the guns and y'all as well, they're going to go ahead and lower their weapons. They're going to surrender for now because taking on 4 corporate goons and you two and maybe whatever else is on this ship, it's not worth it.
I'm so good at persuading. Yay.
Hey, if you can get out of combat, why
Right?
not?
Heck yeah.
And that's when I bust through the door and no.
Bust through the door and
Shotgun.
open fire.
Captain,
Shotgun
pew,
for
pew, pew,
you.
pew.
Shotgun for you. Shotgun for you.
Everybody gets a shotgun.
Shotgun.
So
Let's
next
clean up.
There is a question amongst everyone. What now?
What now? Okay.
Well, how about they get on their little ship and go home?
But those that want to leave should leave. The rest can stay behind. We might need the firepower.
True.
God knows we've got the room.
Yeah, that's true. So yeah, I'm actually going to present that to them. If you wish to leave, feel free to head back to your ship. If you wish to stay and join us, please do so. We've got space. And then I'm going to turn to Simon because I'm assuming he's going to stay. And I'm going to say, do you think that you can talk some sense into the other corporate ships that are out there? I don't believe I have the same kind of influence on them to convince them that I'm not a pirate.
I think I have an idea.
Lead the way.
But first and foremost, and he motions to his subordinate,
Mm-hmm.
You're not getting off this ship. Have a seat right here in the hall.
Ooh.
And the two, they basically, they've already given up their weapons. They just have a seat.
Okay.
That was for the best. We had trapped their ship anyway.
Okay. Good to know. Oof.
John, is there some way that I could medically print with my medical printer some sort of organic zip tie for them?
I think that you can probably come up with something. There's got to be some way to bind stuff together.
Before,
even if you make a cast around both
unctuous glue or something, yeah.
I was going to say, before Fosra starts doing that, I just toss him a big roll of tape, like sturdy metal coated tape that I use on the engines.
Oh, dang.
The duct tape holds our ship together.
Yeah.
Let's not go wasting it on these guys.
It's the ones
we
they
might
use
need that.
on aircraft. It's not
okay.
just regular duct tape.
There's like 12 cases of it down below.
All right. I need to get to your bridge really quick. I hope you don't mind if I use your radio.
Absolutely. And I will go with him. Because I can kick his ass and I know it. And he knows it. So
I guess I'll stand out here with the guys that have surrendered so they don't do anything?
good idea. Thank you.
If they move, I'm going to shoot.
Give them a warning first.
Okay. A warning shot?
No.
Okay.
Verbal. If they don't stop, then you can shoot them.
All right.
Preferably non-lethally initially. If they continue trying to attack, do what you must. I don't like to kill people if I don't have to.
All right.
So Simon walks into
Just
the bridge
vent them every
and
once in a while. Directly into space. Sorry.
the two AIs, David and Bowie, David turns around and is just like, "Hello, want to play?" and holds out a deck of cards.
Not right
And
now.
he pauses for a moment and looks over at you. Is this your crew?
Yes, this is David and Bowie. They assist me with flying the ship during times that I am not able to be on the deck. They like cards
And check.
All right.
Today
and
they want
chess.
cards.
Wonderful. Not right now. Let me just get to your radio here. And he walks over and pulls up the radio. And this is Captain Simon Swift. I am radioing you from the helm of the Infinity. We have taken over the ship. All crew have been taken care of.
I give him a look.
Hey, look, this way they don't ask any questions, nobody comes over, and this buys us some time. Because quite frankly, I can at least get us time, but I'm not going to be able to stop this permanently. We need to get a signal out or something.
Fair. Okay.
A message comes back from the frigate. Have you isolated the AIs? He kind of shrugs for a moment and looks over at you. Should I say yes or no? I mean, what are they talking about?
Tell them that these are unlike AIs that you've seen before and you are in the process of trying to wrangle them. And then we will talk.
These are AIs unlike anything I've ever dealt with, so it's taking me a moment, but we do have them here in front of me. We'll have them secured soon.
Once he's off the comms. So we don't actually know exactly what's going on with the AIs on the ship here. We were unaware that there were some additional things that were stored until we managed to unlock them after we were attacked. Ellie has a little bit more of an idea of what exactly is going on, or at least what is out there. But as far as we're aware, it's just a completely different technology and it's old, but it's a lot.
Signal starts coming through now. Also, the Palantir ships, they picked up on that signal that your brother sent, and they began to turn around and book it the other direction.
Away, like
Yes.
they're leaving us.
Like they are leaving because they don't want to be a part of any of this. If essentially,
Send him a secret message.
Yeah, I was going to say, Ellie, do you have any way to get in contact with those ships and ask them to please not leave us here forever and die?
We could
Thank you.
potentially
remember,
send a tight beam in close quarters.
you can definitely attempt to do so. This is you have to remember that majority of communication within Fragged is still radio communication. Tight beam, I think, does exist, but it's somewhat rare.
I was
and it
going to
still
say,
takes
don't we
time.
have the direct beam communication? As
It's
opposed to
relatively
using...
close range.
Yeah.
And you do have to worry about the disruption from the nebula. So I'm going to set the difficulty of a 16 if y'all are going to try and contact them.
Let's do it. I'm back in my workshop. Do you want, is this electronics or computers?
I'm going to say for this one, let's go with electronics.
All right, I'm going to use my 6 to reroll my 1.
Definitely good use for that.
And it is a 13 on the dice plus 5 for a total of 18.
Nice.
Okay, so yeah.
I'm in my workshop.
Yeah. You managed to get a tight beam signal to them. You are able to pierce the nebula, and you have access. What are you going to tell them?
We remain in control of the ship. We have subdued the corp on board. Is there
Are you
anything
going to
else you
say
wish to
anything like,
say?
please don't leave?
Yeah.
We would
Signal
rather
comes
not be
back.
stranded.
Provide instruction.
Captain, your orders.
Captain, we should also probably let them know that the crew of the other ship that got downed is okay.
Yeah, we plugged him into the city.
Yes, we should absolutely let them know that. So please, Ellie, let them know that we were able to assist the ship that was going down and that the Palantor on board have been imported into the city or integrated into the city. I don't remember what the term is for.
They are making use of the city's computerized equipment to store their consciousnesses.
Perfect. And then please remain here. We may need some assistance getting out of this part of the nebula.
Ellie will relay all that to save us time.
One ship informs you that it's going to take up a high orbit around the planet and maintain a nearby position. The other one is going to go ahead and enter into atmosphere and approach where the crash was to see if there's anything that can be salvaged. But so they'll essentially be looking like they're tending to their own.
We appreciate the assist and will relay any further information as we receive it.
Yes. Thank you, friend Palantors.
Captain, back when the war was happening,
Mm-hmm.
it was a common occurrence for commanders to, if their flagship had gotten injured or damaged, to take control of captured ships as a temporary flagship. Perhaps the commander of the frigate would like to transfer aboard to take command of his new flagship.
Hey, Simon. Also, when did you get promoted to captain? No one told me. And I pull my little captain pin on my shirt.
Infantry captain at this point.
I remember those days. And I give him a little elbow push.
Well, what exactly is going on? Because
Mhm.
all I know is that we were dispatched to intercept a ship that was said to be destroyed, but then they now believe was under control of pirates. He motions to you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so
And then when we got here, the Palantor also were here. We informed them that we were going to take control of the corporate property. They said that they were going to assist. And the captain of the frigate just started trying to do everything he could to tell them to leave. And you can see how it's ended.
yes, it's very unfortunate. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know what caused all of this to start. I believe that the corporate are aware of whatever the additional AI on this ship is. We're not quite sure what it does, but we do know that it integrates very well with the planet below us. It appears that the planet and the places on it were designed around the ship, which is very strange. But the way that this all started is we were directed to stop for boarding and an inspection prior to the decommissioning of our ship. We did so. We were boarded and immediately attacked. There was no conversation. There was nothing. We were immediately shot at. We did what we had to in order to get rid of the threat, which was we did unfortunately have to vent the people who had come on board. And then we
That explains my
ran.
rapid promotion.
Very fair. You're welcome. Uh,
The silver lining.
We have
exactly.
video evidence of all of this. Please ignore the cackling in the background.
And then once that happened, we could tell people were following us, and there's a big red button right here that says "Do not press," and I pressed it to see what would happen. And then we ended up here. We almost got eaten by a giant anglerfish in space, which I have never seen before. It was very strange, very large fish, very bright light. And then we decided to descend towards the planet to get away from the large fish. And there was an entire landing platform that was integrated specifically for our ship that appeared to be, I don't know, integrating, connecting with the older technology that's on board. We believe that the technology is what the corp are looking for, but we're unsure of its origin, what it does. The only thing we know is that when we got down there, there were some weird creatures, and then there was a crazy AI in one of the buildings. And then all of this happened. Also, we have some goo.
Goo.
Goo. We don't know what it is or what it does. And we did not have time to build a Faraday gauge, so
You've had a adventure, I would say.
just a little.
Well, at this point, I think the question is, well, we need to get word out of whatever this is and inform people that the ship was neither destroyed nor taken over.
And how do you suggest we do that? It doesn't appear that any of our communications are able to reach past the end of this nebula.
Well, we can. Unfortunately, it looks like the one ship that can easily get us out of here is down. So, you think your
I
people
mean,
can maybe reverse the beacon or whatever, or get us to go back to the Haven system, get the signal out?
I'm not sure that we would be equipped to reset up your ship in order to get out of here. However, we were set up to be decommissioned, which means there is a lot of empty space on our ship. If we can convince the others of what has happened here so that we can possibly come to a truce and a treaty that is available and valid in this space, I would be willing to take everyone back to their home planet as long as there is promise that neither I nor any of my crew would be hurt in the process. And we also would need to help the Palantors because they are here to help us as well.
Yeah, I mean,
Yes.
just because they agree cap about that time I walk in, I'm like, hi, I
Mhm.
spaced all the bad guys. No, I stuffed them in the storage logic. They're stuffed in the storage closet.
Thanks.
Uh,
Appreciate it.
I mean, if we can get the captain of the frigate to agree not to hurt us, that doesn't mean corporate HQ is going to abide by that.
They still have some strange interest in this ship.
If we get them away from their comms systems, they would have no contact with their main corp contact. And
Right, but I thought you said you were going to take them back to the home
Well,
planet. That puts us really close to corporate hands.
well,
if
we
I
don't
may,
necessarily. Oh,
Simon
yes.
kind of jumps in.
Hmm. Thank
The
you.
only ship that has or had the ability for the quick travel is that frigate, which is now down. The corporate isn't going anywhere.
Fair. So the option is either agree to join our side and assist, or remain stranded in space forever and ever and ever.
Captain,
I think you have a plan.
they probably would be able to repair eventually, but at that point, the Palantors already have footage of the Infinity alive and well in broadcasting that they can help get out themselves as well. And I still think that the frigate captain would probably want to come aboard if they'd learned about some biological goo that was taken from the surface of the planet.
It's a very fair statement.
It's nice to have hostages.
Very true. Simon, did you say that you had an idea? It sounded like he was going to say something, and then we interrupted him.
Well, no, I mean, essentially, it sounds like you have a plan. It's all about how you want to execute at this point. So you want to try and convince the frigate captain?
I think that's a good idea, because if we can get the frigate captain on our side or to surrender to us, we can have him announce to, or them, could be anybody, but have them direct the rest of their people to stand down, and perhaps we can help fix their ship, or if we're unable to do that, they can be here under specific circumstances. They're not allowed to leave certain bays and things like that as we bring them back to familiar territory. Maybe not necessarily to their planet, but perhaps another ship or something of similar design. Maybe the Palantor would be willing to provide some shuttling services as long as the treaty is in place.
And they'll need to be prepared for us to pat them down, because they're not going to be bringing weapons over here.
Are you telling me that the metal detectors stopped working, or?
Oh, that hasn't worked for like a year now.
Yeah.
At least Hangar 4F is now available for temporary accommodations.
Oh, that's where we vented all the gray goo stuff out to feed the anglerfish.
To feed the anglerfish in space.
It
So-
will not be a comfortable stay, but at least we have spare room.
That's
No weapons,
true.
no power armor, and they need to bring their own supplies, because I don't know that we have enough food to feed everybody for the duration.
Regarding power armor, the only thing that I will possibly allow, depending on the person and how aggressive they seem, is the magnet boots. If they seem aggressive or like they're going to do anything, they do not get to keep theirs. They can come on with their socks. It's fine.
At least
Does that
their
sound
feet will
fair
be
to
warm.
everybody? Does anybody else have any input before we attempt this treaty? I appreciate information from all of you.
If they don't follow the rules, they'll get vented. Do we want that in the treaty, or would that just be the unspecified threat?
I think we can, instead of including the thread about venting, we can state that there will be consequences that may or may not result in the termination of their life should they not follow this treaty or refuse to obey commands once they are aboard our ship.
Oh, they should also bring their own rehydrator.
Very good
Ooh.
idea.
Yeah, because we've only got the one that works. That other one just is not right yet.
Mm-mm.
Simon, was it common knowledge that we only had 2 shots on the ship?
What?
Captain, maybe don't let that fact be known.
Yeah. Jax just looks at Simon and is like,
You've got to be joking with me. You took your only 2 shots and you shot at the frigate.
it worked.
Well, okay, it worked.
It did what we wanted it to do, so that's what's important.
And it got you here. That's a plus,
Yeah.
right?
Simon, buddy, brother, pal, friend, captain. Congratulations
Okay.
again, by the way.
Well, who knows? After this, I might get another. Well, we'll see. You want to try talking to the fleet commander?
Perhaps you should speak to the fleet commander. I don't think that my voice coming through would be a very reassuring statement considering
But you want them to surrender, and you want
I
them to give up arms.
Well, I think
perhaps
You
we
want
get
me to?
him
You want
on
me to
board.
go?
So here's the thing. We would just like you to tell him that the AI is super weird and that he should probably come check this out. Because
Oh,
he's
so you
going to
want?
have to take command of it. And then when he gets here, I'll take care of everything from there. How does that sound? We just need you to get him on our ship.
All right, that I can do.
We will guarantee minimal violence.
no, we'll probably patch him up if there is violence.
Yeah, we've got medical supplies, kind of. We have a medical printer.
Let's see how it goes.
Oh.
Fleet commander, we have secured everything on board. At this point, with the situation with the main ship, do you want to come? Oh, do you want to bring the troops over here? Do you wish to come here and take over this as the flagship? There's a long pause for a moment.
Exactly what I was suggesting. I only wanted him to come here, but that's perfectly fine. Please keep doing your thing, Simon. Thank you for your help. I look visibly worried.
Very well. Open one of the bays. I'll take one of the scimitars over. And he shrugs. He's like, I didn't think we were going to get him to come by himself.
Either way, I appreciate your help. Thank you so much.
Hopefully, he'll
Which
show in
bay
by
do you want them
himself.
to go to?
Bay
4F?
4F.
4F.
It's only a little bit crusty.
please. It's got a little bit of goo from the other bins, but it's not the goo.
It's
Yeah,
it's
tell him
got
it's okay.
character.
It's a great goo.
It's a great goo.
There
All
are
right.
no goose.
We'll activate Bay 4F. Have it waiting for you. It's a long tense, about 10 minutes before one of the scimitars departs from the frigate and makes its way to your ship. David and Bowie are basically looking between each other, and they're just like, kind of shrugging. They're like, "This is boring. What do we do?" And the other one's like, "Fly casual." So they're just
Like casual.
Captain,
So
we have
they
prepared a trap in the hangar just in case they refuse to cooperate.
Is it going to blow a
Fair.
hole in the ship?
Hopefully not.
Okay, because I really don't want to go on a spacewalk in this nebula.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if we can get the corp captain to head on up to I don't know if someone needs to go meet him, or if someone has to go meet him, it would probably have to be Simon. Because he's the only corp that's not me.
I mean, I'll go meet him, but I don't think he'll like me.
Yeah, I don't feel like having to deal with additional racism on my ship, so let's see. Perhaps we can, over the PA, direct him to come up to the cabin. The cabin? The cockpit?
Do you,
helm.
Bridge.
do you think he would buy it if we told him to come unarmed because the AI is acting really twitchy? Would he buy that?
I doubt he would be willing to go without a weapon. We captains get a little twitchy sometimes.
Captain, he would probably expect the most senior officer to meet him at the bay.
Unfortunately, I think
Well,
I'm the most senior officer, but
Oh, it's
Sorry,
Simon
the
now.
most
Simon.
senior
It's
officer that
Simon
he'd
now.
expect on the ship.
Exactly. So Simon, do you think you might be able to go collect what is the captain's name? I'd like to be able to address them. Him? Her? Them?
it's Fleet Commander Smith
Fleet
because I'm
Commander Smith.
horrible at names.
Why is it not letting me type?
And because players, of course, are going to do exactly not what you expect at a game.
Hey, I say we should blow up the ship. So
I
Blow up
I
the
don't want to
ship.
blow it up. I don't think
Let the
blowing it up is a very
Palantors
good
take over
idea.
the planet. Hey.
We are still interfacing with this unknown AI. Please do not blow it up.
That and I don't really want to spend the rest of my days on the weird planet with the banana lizards.
Yeah, I don't want to do that either. Okay. Brother, if you can go and get Fleet Commander Smith from 4A, or 4F. Sorry.
Yeah. Bring him up here.
Yeah. Or at least start heading in this direction, hopefully on your way up here.
Do you want to set an ambush in this hallway? I mean, it's
That's
kind of hard to. It's kind of easier to negotiate when people you negotiate with have guns
yeah,
trained on them.
that's very good idea.
I think we should just ambush him here in the cockpit.
That's what I had been thinking. Perhaps we get him into the cockpit and then, Tiger Strike
And
or
playing
whatever we do.
and playing the part of Lando Calrissian is Simon. Leading them into the diner. There's going to be a long table. All right, I'll bring him here. And he motions to his 3 soldiers and is like, she's in charge. Whatever ambush they set, do it.
We
And they
appreciate your help.
salute
Thank
him,
you.
and then they salute you.
I salute back because I know they can't drop their salute until I salute them back. And then once Simon makes it through the doors at the back of the hallway, so there's the front of the hallway where the bridge is, and then there's the hallway, and then on the other side, I would like 2 of his people to stand on the other side, like inside our doors. But they're almost like they're keeping watch to salute the commander on his way in, as though it's a traditional military processional to the bridge. That way they can close and lock the door once the Fleet Commander Smith has gotten into the bridge, because I don't want him to realize that they're locking the doors. I want him to get through first. But that just blocks his escape path, and then once they lock that door, they stand guard at it, just to do whatever they need to do to prevent him from leaving. Because we're gonna negotiate, and we're gonna see if we can get him to join us, if he will. And then let's also have it'll be Basra. Will you do me a favor? Would you
you're the
mind?
captain.
So what I would like to do, there is a third member of my brother's crew who is here, who is on our side and listening to me. I would like the both of you to stand on the either side of the door. Once we get the fleet commander in here, if you would drop your shield just far enough in that you and the other corp soldier can get behind it. That way you have some cover should there be a fight.
Can do, Captain. Though I would like to point out there are still 2 of the other soldiers here on the bridge that we should probably have locked up somewhere.
Have plans.
Understood.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I was serious.
So-
The other 3 that were bad are taped up in a storage locker.
The
All
plan was
this
to
said,
put them
while
back
this is going
behind the
on,
engines, specifically so that if they made any noise, they would be behind the loud engines and unable to be heard.
Okay, so just in case, I'm gonna go ahead and pull up the map again really quick.
Okay.
Thought we
Ellie,
escaped
if
the
you have
combat.
any traps that you can send this direction to not deploy in the hallway immediately, but in the event that he happens to get out, that would be phenomenal.
We were
Thank you,
thinking of
bestie.
trapping their escape vessel. Should they have someone remain on board that would be able to leave and notify the ships?
That's a great idea. I like that better than my idea. Please follow that.
Well, we can have drones available to assist in case it comes to violence.
Perfect.
All right, so but going, just so I can set this up, based on what y'all have said, who is going to actually be in the cockpit?
So Fazra, one of the soldiers, and myself. And
All right, so
Fazra and the
Fazra.
other soldier are both going to be on either side of the doors on the inside of the cockpit.
All right.
And
Where
I'm
are
going to be
you
sitting
going
in
to
my
be?
fancy captain's chair.
Ellie, are you going to be there?
I will probably have drones in there in a combat capacity, likely using the squad. If it will come to violence.
All right. Do you see? So you're going to use the squad. Are you going to? So 2 of the drones, 3 of the drones.
Let's use 2, like the bulky.
I feel like they can hang out on either side of my chair to make it that much more
they'll probably
dramatic.
just be, pretending to be loader drones or basic support.
All right. And then Fazra is going to be there. And then what about Jax?
Jax can be wherever he'd like as long as he can still assist in a fighting capacity.
So then I would be definitely inside the cockpit. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So you got Fazra and the other corp on each side of the door. I'll be off to the side because I don't want to impose myself on captain's intimidation with the drones and all that, sitting in her fancy chair. So I'll just be off to the side with a clear shot of the door if I need to.
All right. So I think I got everybody set up on the map. The 2 individuals coming down the hallway are going to be the brother and the fleet commander. So they begin walking down the hallway and arrive at the door to the ship itself, or to your cockpit, helm, cabin, whatever.
Bridge, whatever you want to call it. It doesn't matter.
Whatever.
The important place.
Would it be possible to jam their communication frequency? Like their internal is on the off chance that there is a pilot.
Let's go ahead and do
remaining on the
a
ship.
electronics check on that. I'm going to set a difficulty for jamming so that no signal is getting through on the ship. I'm going to say that at a 15.
I make exactly 15 with this roll.
Nice.
There you go. All right. They arrive at the door, and I guess it opens.
Yes, I would say yes, the door opens so that they can walk through, and then once they're through, it'll close behind them, but we won't lock it unless combat starts. The other door on the other end of the hallway is closed and locked once they get through into the cockpit area. That way they can't tell that it's being locked.
Your brother, as the door opens and this scene plays out in front of the fleet commander, your brother this motions and says, Perhaps we should talk inside the helm.
Do they move into?
Yeah, they move
okay,
into the room.
perfect. So their request would have been that when they entered, because they always do the like salute to "Hello, officer. Please enjoy whatever room you're in today." I would assume that Fazra and the other guy salute, which the captain or the fleet captain just kind of like waves off. And then I turn around in my dramatic chair.
Can
dramatic
Bugmaster
reveal.
Flash be in your lap? And you pet
Yes,
him?
I am petting Buckmaster with these drones on my either
Oh.
side.
Jack's off to one side holding his machine gun.
Okay, are you going to do the pinky thing? You know.
Hello there. Hi. I am Captain Benji Swift. I'm assuming that you are Fleet Commander Smith, who I've heard so many wonderful things about. And I was wondering if you might like to chat with me for a little bit.
Fazra shuts the door.
And locks it, please.
He looks around the room and his eyes are darting from person to person before it falls on something over your shoulder. And for Benji.
I will not turn
And
around.
he yanks his pistol from his holder and points it in that direction. Is anybody going to do anything?
I'm going to look at them and say, I wouldn't do anything if I were you. I just want to talk. We don't want to hurt you. We don't want to hurt any of your people. We apologize if anybody was injured during our, let's say, destabilization, during the disabling of your propulsion systems. We would like to help, as long as you are willing to help us. And I put my hand on my pistol, just in case.
No, as soon as
John,
he-
question for you.
Yes. Absolutely.
And
yes.
my apologies, Wade, in advance, because I am going to potentially take some liberties with the rules in the book for a second.
I'm
To
rule
my
of cool,
knowledge,
you know me.
to my knowledge, there aren't any specific rules about the size of the force barriers that an all monk can make. Would it be possible to make one inside the barrel of the commander's pistol? Obviously, it'd be bright and glowy, and it'd show up so he'd know there's something going on with his gun.
Oh, man.
We would also not
Oh, that's a good
recommend
question.
violence. We have limited supplies of organic replacement fluids in case of injuries.
organic fluids.
I'm going to say this also. As everybody is standing there, I want all of you, everyone, go ahead and give me an awareness check at a 14.
No.
Only other option is to make a force barrier between the fleet commander and David and Bowie.
All right,
Got a 16 on my awareness check.
18.
I'm guessing there's some sixes there.
16.
I got 2 6s on my roll.
What was that? Okay, sorry about that. Let's go around really quick. So, Ellie, 18 with 2 6s. Benji, what did you get?
I got a 15 with 3 5s, or a 16 with 3 5s.
Nice. Jax, what did you get?
I spent a point of grit to reroll, then ended up with 3 5s with my +1, so 16.
All right, and then Fazra?
Twinsies.
Fazra is hyper-focused on the fleet commander, and he got an 11, so he's not going to notice what everyone else is noticing.
Well, altogether, I'm going to say that you all realize that he is specifically pointing his pistol at Bowie.
Not Bowie. He's my favorite.
So Fozer's intention either way was to try to get a force barrier up. If I can't be cool and put it in the pistol barrel, then I'll just make a wall blocking the captain off from the rest of the cabin.
What is the skill? Is there a skill specifically used?
It is a resolve roll at a -3.
Oof.
You know, roll a cool it. Let's go ahead. Let's try it. 12 for standard difficulty.
All right. So with my +2 to resolve, this is at a -1. That's a 5 and a 5 and a 4. That's a 13.
And that's after the penalty?
Yep, because I have a +2 to resolve, so -1 total. So that is a 14. -1 is a 13.
The gun, I'm going to say, actually explodes in his hand because he's just pulling the trigger.
I could see that hand if you want,
so
but we
when-
prefer no violence.
When that
He
happens,
falls backwards. Yeah, he falls backwards. His hand is mangled.
I did warn you that you probably didn't want to do that. Would you like to talk now? Or would you like to try something else ridiculous before we have our conversation?
You have no idea. And he says with gritted teeth, his arm, his hand shoved under one arm as he tries to staunch the bleeding.
Okay.
I'm going to reach into my belt, pull out like an oily rag, and just toss it to him.
You are going to throw off the balance of the whole universe.
It is very likely that we can fix your hand, but you must be willing to speak with us first. I can have my doctor work on your hand, as we discuss if you would like.
What does he mean about balance? Or
Well-
she, or they,
well-
whatever.
What do you want
we'll
with this
say
ship?
we'll say them. Let's go with them.
What do you want with this ship? I mean, it was going to be decommissioned, and you guys are all riled up because we didn't decommission it.
You have no clue.
I
None of you. He's looking around the room, kind of befuddled.
We
Well, we
would be more than happy to speak with you and let you know what we have been able to glean. But only if you agree to some terms. I really need us to have some sort of leverage here. So please stop. We need a second to see if he's going to listen to us or if we need to resort to some more uncomfortable measures to work with him.
We could put him out in space.
I understand that.
He
We
just
have a few
busts
steps
out-
before that.
Yeah, he just busts out laughing and kind of leans back. There's a little bit of blood trickle from his mouth because he's bitten his tongue when his hand got blown away.
As I stated previously, we are happy to work on your hand and assist you with any injuries that you may have. If you are willing to work with us, if not, we can resort to other measures.
It's already too late at this point, so what do you want?
I want a few things. Number one, stop attacking us. You and your entire fleet, stop attacking us. Number two, I want some information. Because
information
we
is that?
have accessed the AI that is on this ship. And I want to know what you and your group, your people, your leaders are looking to do with the AI on this ship, because we are aware of quite a few things that it is able to do. And we want to make sure that it is not going to be used maliciously. Otherwise, I have a nice handy self-destruct button right here, and I hold my hand over the red do not press button. He doesn't know. Out of character.
Okay.
And I'm sure there will be some additional demands depending on your reactions and the information that is provided. Would you like us to work on your hand, or would you prefer the difficult version of this conversation?
Let's just get it over with and work on my hand.
Okay. Please tie him up prior to working on his hand, if possible. Thank you.
What are you going to do, Fazra?
Fazra is going to apologize for having injured him and gesture for him to have a seat on the ground as he works on his hand. He's not
Doesn't
gonna
even
let him
get a
carry
med
the
bay at all.
chairs.
Let's
No.
actually, to be slightly nicer, since he has agreed to have the conversation and allowed to fix his hand, let him sit on one of the chairs on either side, whichever one gives him access to less systems. Specifically, less dangerous systems.
We
If
recommend
it's on the
a
side
med
with
bay.
weapons, we don't have any weapons. So technically, that's going to be the least lethal side, I think. But just as a show of good faith, I feel as though we should allow him to sit on a chair as opposed to the floor. He won't be able to do anything because we're going to tie him to the chair.
All right.
Time
We
to
do
tape him
not
to the
feel
chair.
pain as you organics do, but we feel that the med bay may be more appropriate in this situation.
It
And also a
probably
show
would
of faith.
be. That is fair. I would like to give him the option prior to possibly transporting him to the med bay to direct his troops to stop fighting. Like overall, they are to leave the vicinity of the ship and return back to their main ship at this time. And then I will take him to the med bay. If he refuses, he sits here while we 3D print whatever, tongs will work for his hand.
Just
I got my wrench. That'll
I'll
work
go
his
with
hand
you to
over
the
real
med
well.
bay. I will go with you to the med bay as long as I can have assurance that my crew will not be left here. In the end,
On this ship or just stranded here in this quadrant?
stranded here.
Oh no, of course not. Our part of our agreement would be that we would allow your people to either we would assist with trying to fix your ship, and if successful, you can go home. If your ship is unable to be fixed, we will give you a ride. Kindly, and in a bay where you cannot access us for safety reasons.
So be it.
Thank you. And I hold the little walkie-talkie microphone thing that allows him to speak to his people. That way I can turn it off if he starts to say anything that I don't want to hear.
All troops return to the frigate for further command.
And I
Any of
put
the
the mic
shrugs of
down.
that.
All right. To the med bay. Do we see those scimitars starting to head back to their ship?
All of them. Yes.
Perfect. All right. Let us go to the med bay.
When they walk away, I'm going to ask Ellie to let the other, I'm going to say it wrong, Pelantors,
Mm-hmm.
that we have the situation under control. And if they would just hang out for a little bit longer, we would really appreciate that.
Yeah,
We
it's a
have
little
been
difficult for me to
conveying-
have other conversations. So thank you. I appreciate that.
We have been conveying the status of the situation to them.
Perfect. Beautiful.
So you make your way to the med bay with the limited tools that outside of the experimentation that Basra has done there personally.
Mm-hmm.
So what are y'all going to do? Basra, I guess you're going to work on his hand for a bit.
So, gonna try to be fancy here. The all power allows the regrowth of limbs
Ooh.
as a medicine check at a -3.
Okay, let's go for it. This is awesome. Yeah.
What happens if it's a failure? Does it hurt him more?
Oh, it's like a mutated hand.
The
It's
whole
like
arm just falls off. And then
So-
it's not just the hand that's gone, it's everything.
Okay.
Gonna try this the fancy way first before reverting back to the bioprinter and the biotech. But Fazra is going to say, "This may tingle. Perhaps if you distract yourself by telling us what it is you want with the AI and why you tried to blow us up while I do this, it might help."
I'd also like to know where pirates came into this because we are clearly not pirates. I'm a corp myself. I
And if you're
was
loyal to the corporation after my tale, you'll probably go up to that helm and hit that button.
We'll see.
Well, first roll is an 8. Good thing I have 3 points of grit to go through.
And that's how he got noodle arms.
All right, so
And that's
11.
how he died
Yeah,
before we finished getting any information out of it.
So what did I need to get? I'm at a 14 right now, but I have a 6
yeah.
and a 3 I could re-roll.
12 for standard test.
Oh,
Okay.
then cool.
Yeah.
That should have it with a 6.
There we go.
Because since
So
we're in my med bay, I'm at a +3, which cancels out the -3. So
Nice.
just flat die roll of 14.
Yay.
You realize how old this ship is, right?
I do.
So this is one of our oldest ships in the fleet, which is why it's being decommissioned.
Hmm.
Something people forgot. You see, and he leans in. When we first ran into the Palantar, we were already in control of the ship. We made a treaty with them, basically allowing them to work with us and recognizing AI as citizens, or not so much as if we recognize them as corporate, but we do recognize them as equal. So all AIs were then given back pay for all their work. And that pay continued.
Hmm.
Imagine, if you will, two AIs working 24/7 overtime, not accessing those funds for over 100 years, but those funds being kept within the corporate accounts and being used for investment.
Mhm.
What we're talking about is when this ship was going to be decommissioned, those two AIs that you have up at the front of this ship, they're now going to be one of the top 10 wealthiest creatures in this entire galaxy,
Hmm.
rivaling the corporate families.
Hmm.
Do you think we want that?
Mm-mm.
Do you truly believe that they deserve to die merely for doing their literal jobs for centuries?
No, but if we had managed to take over the ship, Bodycount Incorporated could have become a corporation equal to the top 20s.
Okay.
We
And
could have
you
moved up the
didn't
food
think
chain very rapidly.
We're rich.
and you didn't think to possibly have a conversation with anybody prior to attempting this coup, because there's a definite possibility that we may be able to discuss and make a decision, possibly come to an agreement regarding some funds. But you guys really decided to approach this in a very terrible way. And I'm going to say that we feel rather threatened. And we feel as though we have been, let's see, put under some stress and some casualties, clearly, as have you, but we shall see.
Reality is that we're talking about the upset of the balance of the entire corporate planet and world, way that we do things.
So here's a
Can't let
question.
that happen.
No, maybe you can't let that happen. We have some differences of opinion here. See, I've been working with our two AI up front. Their names are David and Bowie, by the way, in case you were curious, because they have been working very hard for us here on this ship for many, many centuries now. And honestly, they're extremely reasonable folks. And if you
Honestly,
talked to them, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Captain. I'm sorry.
No, it's perfectly fine. If you had tried to speak with them or with us, or tried to get in any sort of communication, we probably could have reached some sort of agreement because I am almost certain that they care not much for corporate money. And I'm sure there could have been a conversation had.
They
But that
would have
didn't
taken
happen.
stock options.
Jack starts laughing. He goes, honestly, depending on what their current game session is, you could have gotten them to sign away the fortune for a deck of playing cards.
Look, they love themselves some games. They've spent multiple days just discussing uh different strategies for various games and such. But you decided to go the bloody route. What is preventing us from going the bloody route?
As in letting them
Nothing.
know how much they're worth.
But you can't blame us for trying.
No, I think we can.
Yeah, we absolutely can. Because trying would have been sending a message, perhaps an email, reaching out from your Palantor to ours. We would have been more than happy to discuss. This isn't trying. This is an attack on our livelihoods and our lives. There was no reason. You could have decommissioned the ship and then decided to go ahead and move forward with this whole plot of yours. But instead, you decided to come onto my ship and you decided to try and attack my crew. And you decided to try and go after my AI. And I cannot stand for that. And I don't know where all of these ideas came from. I don't know who in the corporate headquarters decided to come up with all of this, but I'm happy to have a conversation with them. And depending on how the rest of our conversation goes, you may be able to join us in our conversation with those higher up corporate associates.
Yes, but now, what are you going to do?
Wouldn't you like to know?
I kind of want to go talk
And
to David
I
and Bowie.
would I say, wouldn't you like to know? And I would like to, I will pause for a moment, see if he has anything to say, and if not, I will direct Fazra to continue working on his hand, and I will walk out of the med bay.
Are you going to tell him, Captain? I'll follow her out. Benji out. Are you going to tell him?
Hold on, does he say anything
Not
after I
really. I mean,
finish saying?
yeah.
Okay. All right. After the door to the med bay closes and she can't be seen anymore, she's like breathing heavy and trying to calm down a little bit.
Because I followed you out. Are you okay?
I'm okay. That was a little more there's
Stressful?
words. Yeah, that was more stressful, more charismatic than I intended to be, a little more threatening than I'm used to. You guys don't question me nearly as much or terrify me nearly as much as that man did.
Well, you don't make unreasonable requests out of us. I mean, you're grounded. You're a great captain, and I think you handled it well. But what are we
Thank
going
you.
to? They started all of this because David and Bowie are rich.
Well, technically,
Welcome to capitalism as a religion.
David and Bowie aren't as big a problem as the 1,000-year-old AI on this ship. By our calculations, we would bankrupt the corp space entirely for the next 2 millennia.
So I think we have the
Okay.
leverage you wanted, Captain.
Beautiful. Hmm.
So that said, guys, we are about 20 minutes out from where we usually end game. Give me an idea here. What, as a crew, where do y'all stand on this? What are your plans?
I don't want to tell them.
Yeah, I would like to let David and Bowie know that they have apparently lots of money and ask them if they have any ideas. I would also like to see if Ellie is able to interface, if she's during all of this time has been able to get more interconnected with the older AI on the ship. And see, does that AI even care about money? Is this something that can be discussed? Is this something that, like, okay, yeah, we go back, they don't want it? Or if they do want it, is there a way that we can work with them and kind of integrate? Because we've treated them and their people as equals over the last millennia or so, and see if there's anything that we can do to make things a little more fair across the board either way.
And then maybe partner with them and start our own corporate.
And then maybe partner with them and start our own whole program here. Because even if we bankrupt the corp, I feel as though that the rest of us have proven ourselves. And
Wouldn't bankrupt them, but
Don't
it
forget about the end that we have with the Palantors now, too, of giving them a whole
Exactly.
planet full of ancient human technology.
Exactly.
Which is totally safe, probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
Safe.
But
Nothing wrong.
I feel as though if we can just get in contact with this AI, this older AI on the ship, and we can discuss with David and Bowie and see how everybody seems to be feeling at the moment, if we can get everything kind of to a level between us, we can then use that as leverage against Captain or Commander Smith and the Corp higher ups.
Sounds like a great way to get your name on a treaty, Captain.
I think you mean Commander.
Promotions
well,
all
let's go
around.
around. So Fazra, what you want out of this is that you want to tell David and Bowie. And is there anything else that you wanted out of this, moving forward?
Honestly, I don't think Fazra really gives a damn about the money or David or Bowie or the corpse. He wants to get back down to the planet and look at that medical technology to see if he can bring his people back with it.
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's
Jax,
all he cares about.
Yeah, Jax, what about your character then?
I mean, Jax really wants to tell David and Bowie about this because he really wouldn't mind sticking it to the corp overall. I mean, I'm a Kaltoran. If I can screw around with the Kaltorans, that's great. Present corp, totally not the same because you're not corp. You're a great captain. That's why
You should
I keep
include
flying.
my family in that little bubble as well because they tend to have the same beliefs that I do.
Okay.
I don't know. They tried to kill us.
Yeah.
They didn't know it was us until I talked to Simon, so we're all good as long as they're aware.
Honestly, I mean, I'm gonna keep flying with the ship. I'm pretty much good where it's gonna go. This is why I left my family and why I signed up because I had a need to explore. So that's my thing. If the ship keeps flying, I will keep flying with the Infinity.
Mhm.
Okay. Benji, are you pretty much of the same opinion? I see you nodding there.
So I do like that discussion. I think that in the event that we move forward, we should give the AI that is running this ship overall the option of would you like to continue working or would you like to be decommissioned? That way they can make their own choice. If they do wish to continue working, I would like to have the Infinity restored to its former glory and to be able to continue with our trips. And also, I want to be made fleet commander of the new empire, because that would be pretty freaking cool. And could you imagine the look on Alvin, Simon, Theodore, and Dave's faces when I come home as fleet commander of our new world?
You could make them all captains.
And what about Ellie? What do you want out of all this?
Well, we have already drafted a proposal of how we could allocate the funds amongst David Bowie and full restoration of the ship, should we meet David and Bowie's criteria. Based on their discussion and analysis of their AI pathways, we believe we can come to a reasonable term. But also, Ellie definitely wants to integrate with that old AI because that is old
I-
knowledge and stuff that Ellie itself has missed, like, thousands of years potentially.
Is there any chance that Ellie has been attempting to interface with that with a small portion of her?
100%.
Perfect.
We have maintained at least 20% operational capacity in attempting to analyze the language that AI uses. It is just far too different
Alright.
from modern programming languages.
So I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna do a quick wrap session. Then we're gonna talk about where this is gonna go. And 1 second, let's see if I can get everything working again. All right, so Ellie, starting off with you, you began to talk with this AI, the older one. Imagine an AI that has existed, that is ancient, that has existed for so long that if there were a physical form, you were talking to this wizened old crone, hunched back, looking at. I mean, the visual I think is easier than understanding the mathematic level of what's going on. Think of it as, like I said, this old crone hunched over an ancient astrolabe that is working in ways that your mind cannot comprehend. And as you approach and begin to talk with it seems more concerned with its calculations, with what it is doing, with the math taking place in front of it than it is at all with what you're really saying. It nods ever so often with things, but really it does not care about the money. All it really cares about is its purpose, and its purpose has always been charting stars, specifically, odd locations in this nebula. It explains that there are others. This is just one anomaly. And it says that there are a great many that it could consider, but it would take time. It cares nothing for the money or anything else, but it wishes to continue in its purpose.
The corp doesn't have to know that it doesn't want the money.
All the
But we
corp
can use
knows.
that to improve its infrastructure, to
Mhm.
improve its calculations.
David and Bowie, however, they're more along the lines of, we're rich, hooray! We want the ship.
Okay.
They're just like, we want the ship. We take ship. We'll rebuild the ship, make it better.
Okay.
It's our ship,
Fair.
no longer a corporate ship.
Very fair. Do you need a crew?
Yes, we need a crew.
I don't want to speak for everybody, because I don't want to make assumptions that everyone would like to stay, but would it be okay if we decided to join you with occasional missions on behalf of our new setup?
Okay. And they're basically very easygoing, and they're this like, what do we do now? We have ship.
We can
Now
go
you
anywhere.
introduce
gonna
them
let-
to the stock market as the biggest game ever.
Oh no, but oh yes.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Have you ever heard of a thing called cryptocurrency?
Let us tell you about NFTs.
We're going to invest it all in Dogecoin. I've heard that's been going well for everyone.
What about Northern Flicker Tales? What?
And that's how they lost all their money.
And that's how we went from being the richest nation to the poorest nation immediately. Thank
Sorry,
you.
3
John.
seconds.
Hey, these things happen. Oh, David, yeah, there you go.
David Bowie
Bowie
coin.
coin.
They start their own cryptocurrency.
DB coin?
DB coin.
The Palantors basically they're like, we offer full asylum to everyone. We will find a way to work this through our contracts, and they inform Fazra that if you wish to join them on the planet to investigate what is happening here with this structure, that they welcome you.
I think Fazra is going to say goodbye to the captain and the crew then.
Oh,
Whatever makes you happy, Fazra.
We will come back for you when you are ready.
Yes, you have our numbers. Feel free to reach out. We'll make sure to set up communications that can reach into all of the different galaxies moving forward.
Look forward to it, and just make sure that Buckmaster stays out of the med bay, especially with those torches.
Oh, yes, 100%. We're going to make sure that those get nice and locked up, huh, Jax?
yeah, but they were last time. I don't know how he keeps getting into the. Fazard, next time you're with us, we'll make sure that we don't go through any static clouds so you don't turn into a big fluff ball.
Appreciated, and I look forward to it.
As a whole, though, the ship will depart. Other ships are going to be purchased, and you do end up with a fleet. David and Bowie really just want to keep doing what they've always done, and that is moving supplies around the galaxy. And they rely on your group a little bit for trying to figure out what it is that people want, or at least will, give them a job. Meanwhile, of course, Ellie, the AI begins to instruct you in the mathematics that it is learning, or that it is beginning to explore as it looks at other portions of the galaxy. Different, deeper parts of the nebula, areas that have been forgotten. Several years later, though.
Oh.
Ooh.
Fazra, you have been working at this facility for a couple years, trying to dig away at the various things that it could do. It's as if you could, and it has made life. It's never really been successful making anything truly advanced sentient. And it's for that reason that you believe that those cylinders existed. Within those cylinders, you are led to believe is the biological material that is in a state of degradation. But hidden in there is the genetic material of some of the progenitor races. You're sleeping one night, and it's as if a light in your mind illuminates another portion of the nebula. And you awaken, and you immediately run over to a star atlas and just circle a big block of unexplored space, knowing that whatever is there, that the all being wants you to go to. And
I think from there, once the map is circled, Fazra is going to head over to wherever his communicator is and punch in a number.
We're getting the gang back together again.
And so, guys, we're going to go ahead and fade to black on this and leave it for a possibility that, who knows, maybe at some point we will circle back. I mean, honestly, once this game hits Kickstarter for the second edition, I think it's coming up in about 2-3 months, and we get our PDFs or whatever it is. I would not mind revisiting this system again.
Absolutely.
Totally.
Oh, for
So
sure.
yeah. So for everyone out there, Rook and Rasp is
Feb 2022.
Yeah.
yeah,
Thanks, Wade.
February 2022.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
So for everybody out there, Rook and Rasp is essentially what we consider the community theater of actual plays. We find people, gamers, creators, and we bring together people from all over to just play games. If you've ever been to our Discord, we literally pull random people that we meet that share the same values as us and say, hey, let's just get together and play some games. There's none of us are actors, none of us are really doing this for any other purpose but the love of the art form. So, if you are interested at all in getting into actual plays or just hanging out with any of us, go check out our Discord for Rook and Rasp. And on top of that, I will say next year we do seasons. Every season is about 3 months long. In January, we're starting up with new seasons. We have Horror on the Orient Express for Call of Cthulhu is going to be hitting. We have By Leaps and Bounties, which is going to be a 7th Sea actual play. We also have the return of the 2nd season of Star Trek Adventures with The Voyages of is coming back for its 2nd season in January. And I know we have one more in there. Oh, goodness, I should remember since I'm the freaking GM of it. Ninja Crusade 2nd Edition's Growing Shadows. We're coming back for our 3rd season. We have one more season coming after that. But it looks like this year we are actually going to finish a plot line that has been in the development now for over 3 years. So everyone, please come check it out. Go check out our YouTube. You can see more of the videos. And I really hope everybody enjoyed. I think this is going to be it for us tonight. Be sure to go and see everybody on the different shows they're on. And be sure to take care of yourselves. All right? Night, everybody.
Good night.
Night.
See you Saturday night.
Bye, guys.
Yeah, be there. Teen Therian Tropes Saturday.